There we go. Now we should be live. Figuring out the new restream stuff.
It's a hoot and a holler when you work together. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So are we live on all of the places, Tyler?
Yeah, we are live in all the places now. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should be. I'm gonna confirm that while I am.
Oh yeah, I see us on the LinkedIn. Look at
There
that.
we
It's
go.
beautiful. Tyler, how are you so smart? That's my
I'm
first
not. This
question.
was the last minute trying to figure out how to connect Zoom to Restream. Like that is it's a whole thing.
Yeah, but you are smart because you figured it out on the fly and we had never done it before. So,
Never done it before, no. And the video that they had for the tutorial was not up to date and a little
oh,
bit
cute.
hard to keep up with there. So
Fun.
anyway,
Well, here we are, our first Friday casual hang, bits and banter, an AI open mic with the Light Magic AI friends. We're gonna have some, I think, of the other teammates are gonna roll in and out a little bit. And so, walk me through this a little bit, Tyler. When people join, tell them what to do. How do they get involved in what we're doing right now?
yeah, so right now we have a Zoom link that is different than the one that we posted originally because,
Right. Right.
technology. So I've
Right.
posted the new Zoom link in the chat so people can click on that now. In fact,
Oh,
I think
great.
Kevin should be coming in here sometime soon. He just messaged me. Kevin Hard's gonna be joining.
Oh, amazing. Okay. I'll update the page as well. Isn't it fun when you're working together and just figuring it out on
Figuring it
the
out,
fly?
dude. That's how we're gonna do it here.
Let's see. So
Um,
you posted it in which chat? There's so
I posted it into the LinkedIn chat, and
okay,
then I
cool.
posted it onto the
Oh, there
Light
it
Magic
is.
Live on Facebook, our Facebook page,
And now it
and
just came through the restream. I see it. Oh, I see it because you posted on Facebook. It's coming into our chat in restream. How neat.
that's right, right, yeah. It's interesting. Like this is a completely different. There's Kevin. Sweet. What's up, dude?
Kevin.
Happy
Got my
Friday.
voice fighting. My God, I need to get my plant office back.
Mm.
How's it going, man?
Good. I'm back in Ohio for a minute and big changes coming up for me, but excited about AI.
Okay.
Got more of
Yeah.
a mission now. I'm really just gonna focus on like finding people that are already doing good work in the world, solving the
Mm.
climate crisis, trying to help people in need and just try to amplify their impact. Like that's how I'm gonna try to be a good ancestor.
I love it, dude. I love
That's
it. That's
awesome, Kevin.
yeah. Now, what part of where are you at in Ohio? What part in there?
I'm gonna be moving back to Columbus next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you met do you know KT? Did you meet her from AIX or met her yet or been to her
I
jam
don't think
session?
so.
She lives
No.
yeah, I'll connect you guys. You guys need to get together. She's
I'm gonna be moving back to Columbus next week.
really
You are
oh,
too, Hunter?
say that one more time. It was echoing back. I think he's muted himself because he was trying to turn volume off on the live streams. We're like, this is different for us. So the live stream is coming from Zoom through an RTMP link going to Restream and then out into all of the ether across all the boards. And
Okay.
like all of the multi-streams that we've done up to this point were straight in Restream's like web platform and not through Zoom. So it's like trying to figure that out on the fly. So
Yeah. I was trying to click in through like LinkedIn and it was like not, I just was getting some sort of spinning wheel and I was like, I know these guys are live. That's why I texted you.
yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we had to switch the link because for some reason, like we didn't have it set up as an RMTP or RTMP, whatever the acronym is initially. And so I had to do a brand new Zoom room to get us in here. So we're learning on the fly. Like we just got this app last week and all the we're normally when we've done live stuff in the past, we just do it straight on the platform, and
Hmm.
this is cool, but we're still learning it. And that's how we're doing it. So
Sweet.
yeah. Columbus.
Right.
So are you from Columbus originally?
Yeah, my parents are here. So I'm gonna be coming back here and just kind of figuring stuff out. Um, yeah, so it'll be nice to be back around them. They're lovely. They're just great people.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I used to go to Columbus at least once a year for a trade show. What's up, Josh?
Hello.
Yeah, there's a big nurseryman's trade show that used to take place. It might still take place up there. We come up there and go eat at Martini's. Does that sound right? There's like a restaurant tour up there that has a bunch of like different types of restaurants. And this one was it's good. So
Are you all down in North Carolina? I saw Sarah is down there. I saw your new office. Congratulations on all the like big announcements and you coming together and kicking this
yeah.
thing off. It's really super exciting. Are you all local there in North Carolina?
No, we're spread out
Okay.
everywhere. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm in Middle Tennessee. Like the best thing I can tell you is like near Nashville.
Mhm.
I'm really in Cookeville, which is like it's a college town like right between Nashville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga. But
Okay.
nobody knows that. Everybody knows where Nashville is. So yeah, and Sarah's in near Raleigh. Yeah, Josh, I'll let you say where you're at if you want to.
Oh yeah, I'm in Bloomington, Indiana. So Hoosier Nation.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty close to me here in Ohio.
Yeah, it's not too far. Where in Ohio are you?
Columbus, right in the middle.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And then we've
Yeah.
got a couple in New York City, and then Hunter and Michael, and then Ann's and our West Coast out in Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hunter goes back and forth. He just got back to
That's
New
right.
York. He was in like LA area and he goes to San Francisco a lot too. So he's our jet setter. So I've got toddlers. I don't get to do that very much.
I have the flight benefits. I have one of my friends is a pilot, so I can fly anywhere in the country for about $70. So I travel a lot.
Nice. Yeah. We used to. There's Ann. What's up?
Hello.
Successfully avoided a get ready with me moment, everybody. I was about to take
Lord.
you on a hair journey, but
Hair's looking great.
got her done.
Boom.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Ann,
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got big plans for a new background. I'm gonna do 100% plants. There's gonna be it's just a full living wall with nothing but plants in the background. So
Okay, I want to talk to you about that because I asked all of my 80-year-old old like cute old lady neighbors, and they all told me they don't have philodendrons. I'm like, yes, you do. Of course they do.
yeah,
But it's Oregon, so maybe they only have fancy plants. But that's what I want too. I don't know how to do it though.
I'm gonna use. Well, we can talk about it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use like rain gutters, how they kind of like are grates and they're kind of curved. I'm gonna take them and build like vertical and fill them with moss, and then let the plants just grow up them, and then build like an irrigation system that drips down in between it. So it'll all just like hang between like a copper frame that I build, and I'll have all these like kind of like vertical moss poles, and then I'll just let it crawl up, and then it'll just be 100% plants. That's the plan, at least.
Love it.
Nice. So it's kind
Love
of like
it.
a hydroponics kind of setup a little bit, sort of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
soilless.
Nice.
And
Love it.
are you in San Diego? I can't remember.
I'm gonna be heading back to Columbus here full time next week.
Okay, so you do have to deal with some low light situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using grow lights. Yeah, I'm gonna miss the sunshine and the waves.
I
Oh.
bet. I
Hey,
bet.
Michael.
How's it going?
Yeah. So Ann, did you see Miss Corey that we talked with last night, or what Sarah was saying about that?
Yeah.
That was so cool. So we went live on TikTok last night that was my first time being live on TikTok, like putting videos out there plenty. It was a fun experience with this lady that came on stage or whatever, like came live with us. Did she come from the other show? Is that what she said?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Yeah, she uses AI and is like does pottery. So she was using like 3.5 turbo, and she was an older lady, just sweet as can be, from Canada. But just it was cool. She had like 200,000 followers on TikTok. I was like, that is awesome.
She was like OG like Periscope days, and she goes on live and sings, and I mean, her voice was like, oh my God, just her speaking voice. I love the idea of how AI can help with like even the like art, but like even a specific niche of like pottery, you know? Be so cool.
How was she using it with pottery?
I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to figure out. Somebody's got our stream, I think, going on in the background. You got to mute the other stream, like outside of the Zoom call. That's what the echo is. Yeah, it was doing that to us earlier. We were figuring it out too, so no worries. I was just telling you. She was using it with pottery to figure out different types of glazes to mix with each other, and it was telling the exact chemical makeup of it, and then explaining like when she put it in the kiln, like describing how it should like combine or crack or colorize or whatever. Like, I don't do pottery, but so I'm like speaking as a complete newbie on that. But she was really fascinated with it, and that was just 3.5 turbo on the free version. So it was she's not even on GPT-4. So I was like, that
Yeah.
will change your life when you switch to that, especially when you have a turbo and like get custom GPTs, all of the things, right? So
Well, so one of the things that came to mind is that like one of my clients is an art center, and they also have an artist accelerator program where they bring in artists from all around to help them learn how to be like working artists. And some of them are like starting out from scratch. And they did like this, they have this whole program. It's super expensive. We're fundraising for it. They translated everything into multiple languages. Like, it's a big deal. And then I came across a GPT not too long ago, that like a custom GPT that I was like, oh wow, this actually does a lot of the things that they spend time. They spend time teaching people how to do their little write-ups next to their piece of art in a gallery. And I was like, ooh, this could be really awesome for artist accelerator programs to help kind of give them a shortcut. They don't need to know how to write for a little museum plaque. You know what I mean? All they need is inspiring and like insightful information to provide to the whoever's watching it. So I love the idea of we could help people bring their original, right? Totally original art out into the world, which people are going to be even hungrier for. So now more artists can emerge with their non-AI-ified, if they want, work, and we can consume it.
I mean, it is really interesting how good these models are at everything, that now you don't have to be good at it, at a whole bunch. You can just be good at the things you want to be good at.
Mhm.
And just spend the time learning those things that you want to do, and the kinds of things like writing the plaque intro or whatever. Like, you don't have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I've,
So
I've
then
noticed
it's
this
just
new phenomenon. I'm trying to come up with, we can workshop a name for it, but right now I'm calling it like an AI illusion, where you are doing something outside of your domain expertise. So say like I just use ChatGPT to like write a patent. I don't know anything about that. It looks good enough to me that like I think it looks good, but then you go show it to an expert and they're like, this is like nonsense. Because I've seen that with like a business plan. I'm like, I read it and I was like, I have enough business experience to know that this is just like vapor. It's like nothing here. And so, like, there's this blend between like, yeah, they can do so much, but if you don't know what good results look like, you don't have any context of like whether or not it's actually good, and you can just think it is.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of workshopping a new name because it's come up a couple times where I've seen some people create stuff and I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, that's where shop prompts really come in there, like giving the example of like what good looks like, and then it gives it that template to go off of to actually do it, like that's not that is where like in all the work that I've done so far, when you get the industry knowledge out of like the person's head and can capture that and then run it through that like prompt chain or whatever, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
That's a really important point, right? Because if you don't give it good input, like, and that input may be like the real details that you would need to know about your business in order to make a non-vaporware business plan. Like, if you don't give it that info, like, you can't escape. You can't just say, give me a business plan. It just does the whole thing. You really still have to give it the inputs that you would need to do it yourself. And so if you don't know what those are, you could ask it to tell you what those inputs should be, right? It could like walk you through the process, but it's not like a just type it up in 20 minutes and you just have this magical thing that's going to work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's even bigger than that, because when people put mediocre content out because they don't know, then it has like this chilling effect. It gives people excuses to say AI doesn't create good results, right? So it's like I think there's a real place for that. I mean, it's like human in the loop plus, right? It's human in the loop. It's like expertise in the loop. It's like a mentor or a coach kind of a thing in the loop to help everybody put high quality stuff out into the world. So we reduce some of those friction points where people are like, people in my industry are like, they see like one thing that's milk toast and it's just like they have every excuse to never use it again. Not that they aren't doing a good job with adoption, but it can be a
I'm going to
deterrent.
totally take that. Expert in the loop. That's like
Expert in the loop.
human in the loop and expert in the loop. Like they're two different concepts that we need to teach, both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah. The
We
the
can share.
like meme of the week, AI meme of the week I saw on LinkedIn, someone had posted a graphic that said it said 0 times 0 or 0 times anything still 0, with the principle of like conversation going about like quality AI outputs, and their point was you can't take someone who doesn't know stuff about some stuff about stuff, right, and have them produce something of quality, because they're going to look at a poor quality output. Like you said, you don't know anything about patents, so you don't know what to check. And so you could, if you just went and shot that off and were like, yep, I'm going to shoot this over to the patent department or the patent office, or whoever does that, like it's 0. It's not worth any, it's vapor, right? And as a multiplier, like if you take someone with thought leadership who has deep expertise, if they're at level 100 and AI can provide a 10x multiplier, now you're talking, like you're really getting somewhere, whether it's speed or more context that you may not have thought of, that you couldn't have reached with the current time or bandwidth you had. But yeah, we see it all the time where people are putting out generic, like plain Jane AI content that's just empty, and no one likes no one likes that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this idea where like basically like everybody gets like one letter boost, like upskilled. So if you're kind of like a B player employee, it's all of a sudden like you can operate at your A player status.
Yes.
But the A players, when they with all the domain expertise, if you already have like a hyper doer that like knows a lot and they're kind of like at the peak of their career, maybe they're like 45 and they know a lot about a lot of things. When they use AI, it's just staggering how much they can produce, because we've all seen it, right? You can do something that used to take you 3 weeks and now it takes you 3 hours. If you have somebody that's just cranking out stuff and they're like, all right, I'm going to make a proposal over here and then I'm going to make a plan over here to give to these people and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And it's like, holy shit, like you can't keep up with these people. And then you get all sorts of new problems. Like how do you manage an organization where every employee is putting out 10x the amount of written content? What do you do with all that data? Like, I don't want to read your BS AI unless it's like, so it's like, send me stuff that's like concise and good. Like, don't send me 10x, like don't take a 1 paragraph thing and take it into a 10 paragraph thing because you can. So there's like these new problems that are emerging, and watching people that are really super doers already use this tech is like just mind blowing.
Okay, I have 2 things I have to say. One is for that phenomenon of like potentially like bloated, content, even internal documents, what people could do, and because I did this like the old school way with my staff, you could set up a chat bot to run your content through that's trained on how either your organization, but specifically your boss, wants to see content. Like some bosses want, bullet points. Some bosses want big narratives. Some bosses just want like the tiniest piece of information so they can follow up. It takes so long for your staff to figure out how to staff you properly. So people could, you get into like exponential benefits if employees and leaders can work more effectively together, just because the employees can easily figure out how to work with their bosses, and their bosses can then like not have to fill such a gap in the working relationship. So that's one thing. And we talked about that in a couple different contexts, but I couldn't sleep last night because of this use case that I worked on. Literally, I only slept for 4 hours and I woke up in the middle of it because I was so excited because of exactly what you're talking about, Kevin. So I was going to outsource a project to a contractor, and I was like, because I don't like doing it. So for annual giving, and I don't like doing annual giving campaigns for nonprofits because there are so many other people who are better at it than me. And it's just kind of like a been there, done that. So, but I was like, you know what? It's a perfect use case for a combination of, ChatGPT for code interpreter. Thank you, Marley. I got tea with turmeric in it, delivered to me.
Nice.
And a custom GPT. So what I did was I took like 25 years of expertise and applied it on top of these tools. And what I ended up with was whatever's beyond A+, like the very best I've ever seen campaign that is foolproof. And it took me 6 hours instead of, usually that's like a 3 or 4 person project over the course of some period of time, or it's one person sitting in a corner by themselves, tearing their hair out, being miserable, creating content that the board is going to tell them they don't like. They're going to change words and commas. Or you hire a contractor, like the contractor I was going to hire was $5,000. So I did that myself and I can replicate it. And it's just like, like I said, I could not sleep. I'm so excited about it. And it also speaks to the importance of what are those marketing and marketing adjacent employees? What's going to happen, right? Because let's say we went into a nonprofit and we said, we will do your annual giving campaign for you. You don't need, so-and-so to do it anymore. We got you. That's a third of their job, right? And so now we're like, okay, if that person is not a frontline person and they are a Marcom person behind the scenes, I don't happen to know right now what else they would do. You know what I mean? Like in terms of their position description and their training, their lifelong training and education. So a lot of benefits and also a lot of downstream, challenges, I guess. That's my TED Talk about.
Yeah. I was thinking about, that's so awesome, Anne, and congratulations on what you were able to do. That's so cool. And I've been thinking about that too, and I put in the chat how the new, my GBTs, make your own GBTs and ChatGPT are a game changer they're a slightly more accessible way into the tech. It's still complicated. You still have to have an understanding. It's complicated if you've never used an LLM before, I would say. But for folks that are a little more versed, there's a learning curve for everybody else. And if you're in it, once you're in it, I'm seeing such amazing use cases come out. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine who's producing a musical, and he's been embracing AI, and he trained a GPT with everything about the show, everything about what they're doing, their benchmarks for their goals. He has a marketing one, and it was able to create all these amazing, I would say, first drafts, to use Kevin's and Anne's words, keeping what do you say, an expert in the loop, or keeping an expert in the loop, because made all these great first drafts. And then he brought it to a marketing team and they were like, oh my gosh, great. Thank you. We can get going so much faster, so much quicker. You did all the back and forth already with your GPT. Let's do this. And that is such a cool use case to see. You can easily, they pretty much just gave everybody chatbots, right? With very large context windows so that you can now train it on whatever you want. And I think it's really fascinating to see that more people are starting to understand the power of it and are deploying it and using it for themselves.
Mm.
The biggest game changer for GPTs for me was it completely upended how I was going to deliver value to customers. Before it was like, okay, I'm going to teach you about chat. I'm going to teach you
Yes.
about to become a power user. I'll teach you about delimiters. I'll teach you how to use recursive prompting. And then now it's just like, oh no, screw all that. I'm just going to give you a GPT that does the thing you want. I can just deliver you the product that you want. Oh, you want a Medicaid billing note summarizer that used to take you 30 minutes per time and now it takes you 3 minutes per time? Well, you get 27 minutes back to go work with more clients or to like build more human relationships. And Anne, I wanted to piggyback off what you were saying about customizing information. I've been thinking a lot, and I've been watching this trend of mass customization through my career because I started in 3D printing, and that was like mass customization. Like, okay, I want to build one of one for me. And it actually started with like these tech products, like Uber is a mass customization product. Like, I want this car to pick me up at this location, so I want what I want. And what I'm seeing with AI is basically now I can do the same thing where it's like, we can all have it the way we want. I do prefer mine in bullet points, and don't give me something that's too wordy. So we can all just take the same source document and just read it the way that we prefer. And so I've been
Yeah.
thinking about this idea where you can compress and expand data however you want. You can take a long document, compress it to whatever length you feel like, and then take any bullet point of that and expand it out the other direction. So it's like we have this like
Yeah.
way to like accordion data now that's just brand new.
Yeah. Ooh, accordion data.
It's a good one.
I found a GPT that was reduce this to 20 words. And I was like, hell yeah. I want the 20-word version of this white paper.
That's really good because I'm always striving for under 150. And yeah, 20. Give me 20.
20.
Get to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question that's in line with this. So something that we've kind of just been, it's like an ongoing discussion is like GPT is or AI in general is our like math is our at scale accessible translator between people and the way they want to be communicated to, but also between people and the machines that we use or the tech that we use, because it can go inside, do functions, and like actually operate other systems, like for existing tools. What do y'all think about the concept of if I could set it up so that I get to manage my work the way I want and the way I like everybody has their own project management tool, for example. Some use Notion, some use Airtable, some use Trello. The list goes on and on and on and on. But all of those have backends and APIs that get controlled with automations, and pretty much the massive work that we do in automation is like customizing that to what someone wants. What do you think about the concept of leveraging AI in the middle to translate between tools so that you could have more of it, my experience, my way, to the mass customization level of how I want to work? If I'm going to always use Trello, but my Trello could talk to your Airtable because we automate with AI and it controls like a comment here is a comment there. What I haven't really started that convo with our team, but I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now. What do you think about that? Let's say ask the class.
I mean, I think it's a cool idea to be able to, I mean, essentially you're trying to connect a lot of pieces that don't easily connect and then have it delivered into the way that you want it to, like exactly like kind of what Kevin's saying too, of just if you have your app of choice, then you can still get all of your AI tricks to work just in there. Is that essentially what you're talking about, right, Josh?
Yeah, like we communicate through Slack. You track tasks in Notion. I track it in Trello or Jira. If you wanted to communicate to me through your ticket, you just update your ticket and then it passes through and comes back up to my Trello and my ticket there. Like that's kind of the concept.
I just like wonder where this goes, because what you're talking about is just like another level of abstraction. So it's like, how long until we're just like just like you just say what you want and it just like magic happens, right? It's like we're already feeling that way now, but like, what does 1 year of this like development look like? What does 2 years of this development look like? Like, at what point and I'm already like annoyed with Siri when I'm like, hey Siri, pull up directions and go, but I want to go this route. I like talk to Siri like I do AI, and it's like, oh come on, you can't do that like complicated like multi-step process.
Yeah, I had the same experience this morning with my assistant in the house. I have two assistants in the house, one on the phone and one on the speakers, and I wanted to change the lights, and then it started telling me about something nearby, and I was like, what? No, stop it.
Well, like, so to go like into the future, do you guys follow Matt Schumer on X? Do you know who that is? The Hype Right guy, co-founder. So he just posted this thing that's the #1 trending project on GitHub right now. That's called the self-operating computer. That they're using GPT vision and then having it's looking at the screen and then controlling the computer to go through and like do whatever it's been programmed or tasked to do. So basically, it's an AI agent that can now control your computer. It's kind of, it gets closer and closer to not AGI, but like the pieces that will get us there, or at least emulate it, which was cool and also a little bit freaky at the same time. Like I saw that yesterday, and then I saw Pika did their like formal announcement where it's like
Mm-hmm.
text to video. Holy cow, that is some good looking footage, honestly. Like, um, yeah, I've been following them already, but I hadn't seen much of their video come out yet. And then that raccoon animation that they had, if you guys get a chance to look at it, I'll find it and I'll post the link in the chat here. It is bananas. But that's
Crazy.
to your point, Kevin. It's like, at what point are we going to hit like where we're just, it's not even us anymore, or we just get to speak to Rosie the robot and tell her to do, George Jetson was born like what, last year, isn't that right? Isn't that when he was supposed to be born, like based off of the Jetson show? I saw that on
Oh,
TikTok,
really?
joking about that. Yeah. So
And
It's
so,
interesting. I was just on while I waited for you guys to come online, I was on the AI exchange kind of networking. The group I was in, we actually got to talking about some of this, which is I kind of like, we're all kind of so in this. Like, I'm wondering where the line is where like people in general just start pushing back, right? Or you hit the place where people are like, yeah, we could do more than that, but we really don't want it, you know? And I think we're so in it, right? But like, the one was talking about like the idea of it, like you just basically having a digital memory where, your whole life's kind of recorded via your phone or something else. And then you can always just refer back to it either via voice or text or whatever. And I said, you know what? I just think we're going to get to a place where there's all this hype and people are talking about all these things you could do and whatever, but there's going to be a difference at some point, I think, between your could and your should. And I think you're going to see, like, to be honest, your average person in like, I don't know, pick a US city that isn't on the East or West Coast. This is kind of a thing for them, but it's not a big deal. At the point that they start to see this become obvious in their existence, I think you're going to see my opinion is you're going to see a different wave. And so to Kevin's point, I think we're going to see this slow down a little bit, not because of technology, but because like I think it could be a year or two out. I don't think it's like tomorrow, but I think at some point that the robots are going to meet the humans at some point, not in a really horrible way, but in like, oh, okay, we're good. I don't know. That's just kind of my view on it. I think we'll get to more of an equilibrium than we are now in terms of okay, now we replace this. Now we replace this. Okay, now you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I want people's thoughts on that.
The analogy that I think of with that is going from paper to digital. And like there was this initial wave of going digital, but then it took years and years and years for especially bigger companies to actually digitize all their stuff. And like there were whole businesses that were made that just like would copy people's stuff. And so I just kind of think that there'll be that zone of there's these like low hanging fruit things that companies do, but then it's going to take a long time to really AIify like deeply into the business.
yeah. And on the Pika note, I put it in the chat. They've raised $55 million up to this point. So when you have that much cash flow, you can do some pretty amazing things. And please welcome Aaron.
Hey,
Aaron, welcome, friend.
Hey, Aaron.
how's it going?
Good to
Good.
see you. How
Good,
are you, my
Friday.
friend?
Likewise.
Yeah.
One shallow breath at a time.
We're here for it.
We're here for it. It's like people didn't know they were going to get bits, bytes, and ASMR, but it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
Just-
100%.
Just glad to be on the right side of the grass. I'll put it that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah. Aaron, what have you been working on recently with all of your AIing?
So I've got kind of two different directions. I use ChatGPT for the stuff that I've been learning from AI Exchange, but I've also got a server in there with some mid-range GPUs that I host open source LLMs on, and that's what I use for code generation. And also Seek Coder, I think it is, another open source LLM. So for me, instead of doing a lot of the boilerplate tedium, which a lot of time was spent doing previously, now I can do it all here in a fraction of the time. And now it's more using the intelligence to do debugging. That's like a massive lever to help me get problems solved and deliver value faster.
Mm.
I could talk as
Yeah.
fast as this. Yeah.
Right.
So,
And because you're hosting it, is that, there's a lot of talk about security these days and black
It's all there.
boxes. It's all
contained.
there. So you're running it locally.
Yes. And several of the companies I've interacted with, they have compliance requirements that don't allow for anything like using ChatGPT or publicly hosted models, in spite of the enterprise option. That's still, it's way overpriced for a lot of companies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you see
Aaron, are you
more?
actually? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
So to say, Aaron, are you actually? See, it sounds like you're doing that for your own purposes, but are you doing any work with because I've thought for a while, like there's a business opportunity in kind of for companies that don't quite have the enterprise capabilities to build and host their own, but yet don't want their folks using ChatGPT, that middle ground, like there's an opportunity there to go in and be like, boom, here's your LLM, here's how you use it. It's hosted, you don't have to worry about the security side, you own your own, but you don't have to have a whole staff managing the thing, because then the nice thing is then you get recurring maintenance, like maintenance fees. Have you done any work in that space or given any thought to kind of productizing what you're doing for yourself?
lots of thought. But with this, I'm not as extroverted and confident as I once was. So, how do I do a sales presentation for a prospective customer?
Yeah.
But yes, my mind is very much in that space, and I'd like to do that because I think there's a demand for that.
The only thing I'd say is like, your health, you have to figure out like how you feel health wise to be able to do something like that. But like, I listen to you talk and I'm not like, I'm a pretty blunt person. Like if you came on and said, hey, if you just kind of own it, right? Like, hey, in fact, I had a guy who worked for me who was born with a paralyzed vocal cord and he sounds exactly like you. And he's just like, hey, if you're wondering what my voice sounds like, here's what's going on. It's just part of me. And you just kind of own it. It disarms people. And then boom, there you go. Now you're back on whatever you want to feel like the playing field you wanted to be in. So my only counsel to you unsolicited is like, don't perceive a limitation that those around you, like, dude, if you're smart and got good capabilities and can help people, it doesn't matter what you sound like. I mean,
okay.
So that would be my thing to you is don't let, you got to figure out if your health enables it. But if it's something you want to pursue, I would say, you know what, let the world decide whether your voice is a problem or not. And my guess is once they hear what comes out of your mouth and how smart you are and how much you know, they're not going to give a damn. Heck, I kind of sound like Froggy from that Little Rascals show from 100 years ago. So what, like, so I wouldn't. Yeah, so that's just my thing. I think you got just from listening to you, you know what you're talking about, and you have expertise in a space that is a massive gap in the market right now, in my opinion. So I would say screw it, step into it, and if somebody's got a problem with how you sound, then go find a different client because they're out there.
Okay. How
Yeah.
how would you go about finding clients?
That's
Because
the $1 million question.
huh,
There's the $1
You
million
tie into a
question.
network. I mean, the reality is like you've got these folks here. Most of them have started a business together. They're going to come across people who are like, hey, I actually need to have this thing in, like, I need, like, and these guys are implementers, they're great, but I don't think they do. Tell me if I'm wrong, Tyler and Ann and Hunter and others. Like, I don't think you guys do what Aaron does, right?
No, not
So
not
if you've
local
got a
model.
client,
Not even close.
yeah. So my point is like you tie into the people who are different parts in the value chain, and you get like you find the other consultants out there who are doing implementation work and training and that, and then when they come across a client who has your need, they kick them over to you, you kick them back 10 or 15% for a period of time for the referral, but you get it out there to the people who are already out there talking to clients who already have customer bases, and then you become that resource for them is kind of my approach to it.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And as Anne has said about me, I bring the noise, so I will always happily be your hype man, wingman, whatever you want, my friend. And I'll do what I did. I'll do the Oprah entrance. You get a car, you get a car, and then everyone pays attention, and then they zoom in on how amazing you are, Aaron.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you get a car, and you get a car. Yeah, I get it.
And you get an LLM, and you get local storage, and you.
Yeah.
Local storage. This is the new world. What a time to be alive. That we'd be like, I want local
Yeah.
storage. Keep the car.
Rick, I don't know if you were keeping the cards close to the vest, but didn't you say something in one of the previous calls about either being involved with a company that's working to make GPU hardware more affordable?
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now, I'm serving. Right now I'm halftime. So I'm COO of a startup that basically the simplest way to put it is, I mean, our big long-term view is decentralized inference compute. So the background, so think Airbnb for
blockchain.
GPUs.
That's right.
So it'll be blockchain. Right now, it's not. We'll eventually create a token, but right now, it's basically the way I think about it, it's Airbnb for GPUs. So you have capacity, and somebody else has demand. And how are we putting them together? Because right now, most people go to Microsoft, Amazon, or Google, and it's expensive. And if you're a developer, I would say you either work for Microsoft, Amazon, or Google, or you strongly dislike Microsoft, Amazon, or Google. And there's very few people in the middle. And so there's a big opportunity for people who are over on that dislike side who are like, we do not want to give them our money. And by the way, it is really expensive. So what we've done is they've figured out, these guys that founded the company, I came along later, they've basically figured out how to parse apart an inference transaction, parse it out to multiple GPUs, and then bring it back together to return to the submitter. So it's pretty interesting stuff. And like that whole Sam Altman thing kind of like created a massive tailwind for our business because people were like, hey, maybe having 95% of the AI ecosystem in seven-ish entities might not be our best idea.
Yeah.
Because it turns out 4 people can bring down like a big part of the ecosystem
Yes,
if they like fire somebody. So we really like lots of good momentum. And Oracle came along recently and was like, hey, we got a bunch of GPUs. Can you guys like do something with them? We're like, yeah. So good stuff. Lots of interesting things there. And we'll get to the point, literally, Aaron, where the GPUs you have, we're not there yet, but you'll be able to monetize them via us. If you're not using them, you just make them available and you be a node in the network. And then when we need capacity, if your GPUs fit the criteria for the type of job, boom, we funnel it off there, and then you'll get paid.
Did I mention that I'm up for adoption? Send some of those GPUs this way.
Nice. There you go. Everybody needs them. That's the biggest. I literally was talking to the guy who runs AI for Carnegie Mellon the other day, and he was like, I thought they would be a source of supply. He's like, no, we have no, like, we're short. So that was, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Aaron, I also wanted to say that I think that your offer is a front door for many clients. Like, of course, a lot of the clients that we're talking to are going to have need for this, right? As like the wraparound services of what we're offering. But I also think some people are diving in straight with the concern about having their data out into the world versus something like what you're able to implement for them. So I think it'll take just a couple of months probably of you letting the world know that this is an opportunity. Like, for example, continue doing your TikToks. Like, your TikToks are awesome. And what we're finding is like, we're actually, like, yesterday we did that live, and like, we're actually attracting the clients that we want. You know what I mean? Same thing with LinkedIn. Like, so much of your content can be just speaking to this very, very specific pain point over and over and over again. And just honestly, it's all about letting people know that you're there. They already need it. It's just making that connection. They need it and they want it, and price is probably no object when they're other than their budget. But like, as long as they have the money, like, this is such a level of concern and worry. And you've got, sorry, I have to keep hammering on it, but you've got, for things like this, you've got a very, very heightened awareness from stakeholders putting pressure on, executive leaders to say, what's happening with the data. So in addition to what you would offer by like being an extension, I think that you're a point of entry that we would all be trying to work with you on.
That's a good
your
point.
leads. So don't forget that part.
And Aaron, I beg you, please charge more than you're comfortable with. Seriously.
Yeah. Whatever you have in mind, double it and then double it
Seriously.
again.
Charge more than you're comfortable with. Like,
Yeah.
that's because you have such a unique skill. If based on, I don't know a ton about what you do, but just based on your description here, I get it. There's not a lot of people who can credibly tell the story you're telling.
Or just ask Anne what you should charge. That's always a good plan too.
Yeah. I'm
She's
very
actually got
good.
a wheel in her office. She spins.
I'm very, very good at reminding people to #know their worth. And I have a good sense of, like, I have got Tyler's hourly rate at 5,238. So
I don't know how she came up with that. I mean, I'll take it.
I divided the number 10 million by the number of hours in a year that I personally felt you should feel comfortable working.
Okay, there we go. I love it. Yeah. Rick, did you see that the comment in the chat in the Zoom room that I figured you might not have seen it. I was going to say, I didn't know if you were able to shout out the name or if you guys are flying under the radar right now.
No. Sorry. We're actually flying under the radar accidentally because we haven't prioritized the external, but that happens next week. So it's AI Layer is the company. Yeah. Right now it's an under construction page, but they were doing video shoots Wednesday night, and the guys, Joe's working on the website, and we'll be up. We're going to start a social media push, probably starting mid to late next week. So,
yeah, really cool.
This sounds very familiar. Processing. Yeah, this all sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Like Magic Friends. Like we're like, oh, we have clients. We need to do social media. Anne's like, this is how you use LinkedIn. We're like, thanks, Mom. Okay, we got an SEO project to finish. Is the website done?
Yeah. Launch messy. You got to launch messy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
as
because
long
we're
as you
we're getting to the
launch.
place where we're talking to some we're further down the path with from an investor standpoint, and so I mean we're still not quite there yet on the kind of lead for our seed round, but we kind of need to have a presence other than like the cute little digital looking page we have now for at AIlayer.ai. So that's what we're moving toward.
Well, it sounds
So
like
like
you
the,
already have it taken care of, but we know a great web designer that we worked with if you need someone.
yeah, we're good. We're all well. Yeah, we have one of the founders. Just literally sold a stake in a very large marketing agency, and so he's still able to tie into all of his people from there. So that's
Nice.
that's they're doing. We're still even using their offices. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yep. We'll see. I'm gonna have a good story to tell. I don't know if it's gonna be a story that involves, raging success, but we're gonna have a good story.
I think it's cool. I got to sit
That's
in
a-
on one of their presentations early and like getting to hear the founders like pitch basically. Like they're all about how did he say it, Rick? When we were talking about the fourth industrial revolution, he's like, yeah, baby, fighting back against the man. Like they're looking for the whole decentralized
It's a really good idea. And
yeah.
GPT, GPU limitation, like, the scarcity of those is like the limiting factor, right? So if you can
Is-
optimize the usage across the world, I mean, that's going to
The,
just,
the other
accelerate this whole
interesting
thing.
thing about it we fell into the other day is we also think even within companies, so there's two levels of how you increase your GPU capacity. The obvious one is just get access to more GPUs, but the other one is to more efficiently use the GPUs you have. And so we actually are going to, like, our first business opportunity is probably just forget the network within companies selling like that software layer that optimizes, like, for instance, I was talking to Carnegie Mellon guys, like, we have different departments that have GPUs. We need to have, like, it needs to look like one set of GPUs from a user's, you know what I mean, from a capacity management standpoint. So that's something we can do. So it's interesting how big of a topic this is. And every time we think we've got it figured out, we should do. Somebody's like, "What about this?" We're like, "Actually, that's a better idea. We'll go down that path." So it's been interesting. So how about you guys? How's your business coming? Tell me, fill me out on that. I'd love to hear kind of what your latest is.
It's been awesome, man. It's been well, we've been working and doing client work already. We had that when we were already decided that we were going to do the business together. So we've been soft launch, flying underneath the radar, just trying to get all of the pieces together to actually do the marketing push and the website up and all of the things. And yeah, it's been great. And now we're doing
Yeah, what's an example? Give me an example of like what's the type of project you're doing.
some of the stuff we've done. Okay, so right now we're working on an e-commerce project with a store that has hired us to basically, even though we're using AI, I don't think that they really care if we're using AI or not. They just want the job done. So we're doing a complete SEO overhaul. Like we've done all of their H1 titles, the descriptions, benefits, specs, metadata, all that kind of stuff, and then pushing that back up. So that's cool because like I know that space like the back of my hand, and to be able to do that with an AI prompt chain, essentially, like we have a massive spell that we use, and then some zaps in there to like finish it off, and it's been really cool on that. So we're shipping that update this evening, actually. Like I'm trying to wait and do it a bit at a time because I've done this enough to know that I hate doing like website updates during the day and in like one push. You have to do it like small bits because inevitably if we try and send the whole file, something will break and then I'll be crying. So yeah, so we've got that.
Would it be okay? I've got actually a guy I'm partnered with who's doing a similar type of work in terms of SEO. We've been out pitching projects. So I would love at some point if like we can get you and him on the phone to compare notes at some point, because I think he's doing a bunch of really cool stuff automation wise and whatever. Maybe maybe a thing or two we can learn from you. Can I you okay if I do that and at your
yeah, for sure. I would love to hear about it. And just
he's
even
he's a good dude. He knows a lot too. He's done a bunch of this stuff. So
okay.
You would geek out like crazy.
I would love it, man. The warm invites are always welcome. But yeah, we're doing that. And what else are we doing? I'm trying to think of there's another.
Tyler, while you're thinking of that, can I when you hopped on a call with me, or maybe whatever, I took a screenshot of the spell that you're working on, and it's super small, and I just blurred it. Can I show it? You can also
Sure.
say no. It's blurry.
It's
Just so
okay.
you can see. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
You
Yeah.
can't read of anything what anyone can, no one can actually see what's happening. Okay. I just want people to see what an amazing, crazy brain Tyler has. Can you see this? Look
Yeah.
at the spell.
Yeah. It's blurry.
Intentionally blurry because I don't want you to see the magic, but like you can see these are all nodes connecting to more nodes, connecting to more outputs and evals, and all this stuff is happening. Just like Tyler's brain and Josh's brain and Michael's brain. Like this is what they've been cooking up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically, so we took the export of their entire store, like every single data point that they had in there and didn't have in there, and then created a Airtable base out of that. And then Michael ran scripts on it to clean the data so that it was easier for us to work with and organize it better. And then we basically run it through that prompt chain. So it sends all of like the record for that product into the prompt chain, and then it spits out 12 different outputs, 6 that we're using and 6 that are evaluating those outputs so we can like double check our work. That's the human in the loop part. And
Yeah.
but even before that, like if OpenAI was not rate limiting GPT for vision right now, Michael and I tested when we first started this project, we gave it just an image of a very like not a great image. You couldn't really tell what it was, and then just the product title, which was also not extremely descriptive either, and just gave it that and said, "Do you know what this is?" and describe it. And it nailed it. Like it wrote out a huge summary of what it was. And then we had it go on and like add on, like, please proceed, and just kept going. And we were going to feed that back into this prompt chain as like additional context. The other thing that was part of this package that they didn't end up doing right now or yet is that you can look at the images and write the alt text for them. That is not only like SEO rich, but makes it so that your site is accessible, and it's just phenomenal, like what vision can do now. So I'm excited when they finally unlock that. There's a couple of other GitHub projects that are out there right now that are doing the similar thing, that are supposed to be getting added into Respell soon. So we'll have that as maybe our primary, and vision is backup until it finally launches, or not launches, but they unlock it, But yeah, that's been cool. We've been doing there's another project that we're working on that we can't say anything about. It's but it's basically like helping with the AI workflows on that is like the high level. That's super vague. I get it, but we can't disclose that for the client. Yeah. And then we have I can't even think, my brain, we've been jumping in and out of stuff all day, and I was staying up the other night because we were trying to get this SEO project going, and we were having a hiccup with the outputs from the model from the Respell thing landing into the Zapier's app to then update the Airtable records. And so it's always fun. Like there's always something. I know that I'm like deep in the weeds on like a project work, but it's the day in the life of what we do. And then we go live on Zoom or on TikTok or, it's
All
fun
the
though.
things.
Hey, Hunter,
Yeah.
Tyler hasn't told you is he uses a spell like that to decide what he's having for breakfast. So like, it's really like
He
you were
does.
impressed by it.
That's a
Tyler's
true
like,
story,
I
Literally.
was like, that's one of my small.
Yeah.
That is literally a true story.
It's literally
That is
true.
literally true.
Yeah.
That was his first use case, was his meals.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't actually know that, but I'm not
really?
surprised at all.
You
Yeah.
no
tapped
idea.
it. It's literally
I
true.
just nailed
Rick.
it is what happened.
Yeah. So Rick,
You did.
Have I told you, do you know, I have alpha gal. Do you know what that is? It's a tick-borne. I'll just tell it quickly. All right. So it's a tick-borne illness. And actually I need to jump because I'm supposed to be on another call here in just a
I
second.
do too.
Yeah. It's an autoimmune disease basically that
Hmm.
makes me anaphylactic shock allergic to mammal foods and byproducts. And then I got that this time last year. And so it's the same time that I landed in AI Exchange, like really learned how to start upgrading all my prompting, and then got into the OpenAI alpha trials for plugins. And so I was able to see you, Aaron.
See what?
We were able to make a prompt chain that could not only like recommend safe food for me to eat, because I was literally having to scan every single barcode of anything I put in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then yeah, did that and then made it so it makes the shopping list and everything. And then I could go and just send it straight into Instacart through the new plugin, and it would be
Yeah.
at my house in under 2 hours. Like it
That's
was
awesome.
wild. So that's like
Love
when that was the light bulb moment for me.
Yeah, you think?
I'm really
Hey, I
wanting to turn it
message
into
you.
an app, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Yeah, you got to go, but I message you in Slack about time when we're gonna connect. So just take a look if you would when you get a chance.
Are you free today?
Yeah, I get time this afternoon.
Sweet. All right, I'll be on the interstate.
All right.
I'm driving to go see some family this evening, so
Perfect.
we'll connect
Yeah,
when I'm on the
let's
interstate.
connect then. All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right.
Hi, friends.
All right.
Good to see everybody.
See ya.